Now we are in James chapter 3, verse 8, quoting from the King James Bible, quote, "But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison," unquote. I see no purpose in reading any other translations than what we just read, so we're going to go into the Greek and parse this verse out. But the tongue. As discussed earlier, the Greek word for the tongue is only used 4 times in the King James Bible, in James 3 times, and in Paul's writing to 1 Corinthians 14:9 1 time. So basically it means exactly what that is, the tongue. Continuing, the tongue can. Let's parse out can. Can is in the present tense, so it's a simple statement of fact or reality, viewed as occurring in actual time. It's a middle or passive opponent. Forms in almost all cases are translated as being in the active voice. It's an indicative mood, which is a simple statement of fact. Now, continuing, can no man tame? Now, let's parse out this tame. And it's written in the aorist tense, so it's characterized by an emphasis on the punctual action. That is, the concept of the verb considered without regard to past, present, or future. It's active, which represents the subject as the doer or the performer. And it is an infinitive mood, which is in most cases identical to the English infinitive. So you can put a to in front of this, like to. So to tame. So continuing, no man to tame. It is an unruly. So let's look at that Greek word which is being used. It's being used 1 time by James. So let's take a look at the definition of it now. It makes this kind of easy because I'll go to look at the definition of the Greek of this word since it's only used once. And it says that cannot be restrained. So to restrain, control, that cannot be restrained. That's exactly what this word means in the Greek. So continuing, tame. It is unruly, cannot be restrained. Continuing, evil, full of deadly. Now let's look at of deadly, the Greek word that is used by James. And this one is used only once in the King James Bible by James here in this verse. So looking at the definition, it's brought out as death-bringing, deadly is the definition of this word. Continuing, of deadly poison. Now let's look at John Gill's commentary of the Bible on this. Quote, "But the tongue can no man tame," unquote. "Either his own or others, not his own, for the man that has the greatest guard upon himself, his words and actions, yet what through pride or passion, or one lust or another in his heart, at one time or another, boasts out vain, idle, angry, and sinful words, and he that does not may be set down for a perfect man indeed, nor can he tame or restrain the tongues of others from distraction, calamities, backbitings, and whisperings, who say their lips are their own, and who is Lord over us. No man can, by his own power and strength, tame or subdue his tongue or restrain it from evils. It is habituated to, be it lying, cursing, swearing, or what else. God, by his spirit, power, and grace, can, and often does, change the note of the curser, swearer, liar, blasphemer. But no man can do this, though he can tame beasts, birds, serpents, and fishes, which shows the tongue to be worse than anything to be found in the whole compass of nature. Quote, "It is an unruly evil," unquote. And evil it is, for it is a world of iniquity, and an unruly one, being more so than the horse and mule, which are without understanding, which are kept in and governed and turned any way by the bit and bridle. And though in nature the tongue is fenced by a double fence of the lips and teeth, it is not sufficed to restrain it. It breaks all bounds and is not to be kept in by nature, art, or argument. Nothing but the grace of God can in any measure govern it or lay an embargo on it. Quote, full of deadly poison, unquote, which privately, secretly, and gradually destroys the characters, credit, and reputation of men, and is of fatal consequence in families, neighborhoods, churches, and states, unquote. That ends John Gill's commentary of James chapter 3, verse 8. As a side note, when I was working for other people just a couple of years ago, we'd run across backstabbers who used their mouths to say negative things about me, mainly because they knew that I was doing the work I needed to do for the glory and grace of God to the best of my ability, and they were being shown up. So they would go to the boss and talk bad about me. And each time I was made aware of it, I was kind of surprised, because why would she do this? I didn't do anything towards her, and I'm definitely not going to get even, but yet it cost me. One time it cost me my raise. And I left it to God to deal with it, because I wasn't going to go back to my old ways of getting even. And I watched God 4 times take care of this person, where it cost them thousands of dollars each time they went and backstabbed the death out of me. So I understand the destruction that backstabbing can do, but also on another note, I also have seen what the tongue can do when it is used for the glory of God, for encouragement. Not going the opposite way to sin, but to go the way of encouraging another Christian, and how wonderful it can be. So when you're going about your daily task today, remember you studied this scripture. The tongue is unruly, and you need to put more than just your lips and your teeth to try to keep it under control. But you have the ability to either sin with it or to bring blessings with it. Which one do you think will please God the most, and which one do you think will do you more benefit the most, health-wise, mind-wise, and spiritually? Thank you for listening to Discovering the Scriptures. May God bless you on your way today.